The idea of electroplating is like this. Okay, let's say we have a key. And then we want to electroplate this key. Okay, let's say this key made out of irons. Okay, and irons can rust easily. We want to prevent rusting, so we want to electroplate this key with layers of copper. We want the copper to cover the surface of these irons. So the idea is we use copper metals. Okay, the atoms of the copper metals will go to the surface of the key here and then stick on the surface of the key. That's the idea. Okay, in electroplatings, the very first things that we need to know is, okay, which one you should take it as the anode and which one you should take it as the cathodes, anode or cathodes. Okay, so if you want to electroplate a key, okay, so should you put the key at the cathodes or should you put the key at the anode? So which one should be the cathode and which one should be the anodes? Now here, okay, obviously, okay, because it's already labeled here, right? Okay, it's already labeled here. So the key is the cathodes, and the metals that we want to electroplate on the key is the anodes. But the question is, why the cathode should be the key, but why not? Why not the key is attached to the anode? To answer this, we need to know what will happen during electrolysis. Now, during electrolysis, the electrolyte that we use is copper sulfate. The electrolyte that we use is copper sulfate. It's the copper sulfate solutions. Now, can any of you tell me what are the ions that present in copper 2 sulfate solutions? Okay, there are copper ions and sulfate ions, right? Sulfate ions, hydroxide ions, and hydrogen ions, right? Hydrogen ions. Okay, so during electrolysis, the copper ions and the hydrogen ions, it will go to the cathode or anode. Copper ion is positive, so it will go to the cathode. Okay, so these two ions, it will go to the cathodes. Now after these two ions, it go to the cathode. Which one will be selected to be discharged? Copper and hydrogens. Which one will be selected to be discharged? Copper. Because copper is lower than hydrogen in electrochemical series, and therefore copper will be selected to be discharged. So when copper selected to be discharged, the copper ions, it will form copper atom, okay, plus the electrons at the left hand side. Okay, so it will form copper atoms. Okay, so this is copper atom or copper metal. Copper metals. So these copper metals, it will stick. Let's say this is a copper metals. So these copper metals, it will stick or deposit on the surface of the key. These copper metals. Okay. So the copper metals, the copper ions go to the cathodes. At cathodes, the copper ion receive electron to form copper metals. The copper metal will deposit on the surface of the cathodes. That's why the key must be the cathodes. Okay, the key must be the cathode. If the key is the anodes, the copper ions won't go to the anode and then deposit there. Okay, that's the reason why the key must be cathode, because the key must attract the copper ions. First, it must attract the copper ion, which is positive. Okay, and then it must discharge the copper ions. So it must be cathodes. You can ask the questions, okay, how to choose which electrolyte to use. Okay, now it depends on what you want to electroplate on the surface of the key. If you want to electroplate copper, then we use copper, electrolytes of copper. If you want to electroplate it with silver, then you should use an electrolyte that contains silver. You can use copper chloride. Okay, you can use copper chloride, copper sulfate, copper nitrate. Okay, but usually we use copper sulfate is because copper sulfate is cheaper.